You're right on time for Hope TV Newswatch on this 15th day of April 2024. Now, tonight on the Dialogue KE, I'll be hosting the Member of Parliament of Mbeere North, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku, and former presidential aspirant Reuben Kigame as we discuss matters state of the nation. It is a conversation that you will want to miss. Now, a very good evening to you and welcome to the broadcast. My name is Kimani and my co-presenter on the sign language interpretation tonight is Boniface Morethi. To our top story of the day, and health unions leaders have stood ground and announced that they will continue with the nationwide strike until they engage in a constructive dialogue. Addressing the media in Nairobi today, union leaders have added that no amount of pressure, threat or victimization will make them suspend the strike. Nelias Wanjiru begins our bulletin with the following story.
Forever, for the unions makes us strong.
As the health sector crisis deepens, leaders from different health unions have stood firm with the decision to continue with the strike. The leaders have noted that no amount of pressure, threat or intimidation that will make them suspend the strike, adding that they will engage in a mega demonstration tomorrow, 16th April. Health union workers continue to insist that the health crisis will only be resolved after a sit-down with the government and a return-to-work agreement.
Negotiate. I must remind Kenyans that there is an active court order against the governors and the Ministry of Health, directing them to sit with Kenya Union of Clinic Officers to complete the CBAs. And the governors are in contempt. The ministry has come to the table. The governors are in contempt. So we want to ask IG Koome, please go and arrest the governors. There are people who are in contempt of court. There are people who are causing all this to Kenyans.
The above leaders have also added that it was counterproductive to hire foreign doctors who end up failing the test, a move that didn't quite make them happy.
And to make it worse, we saw in Kenyatta University Teaching and Referral Hospital, where the hospital decided to import doctors or to import consultants. Today, in the interview that was being done by KMPDC or by Medical Council, all the doctor foreigners that were brought in failed the test, except one. It means that these specialties that doctors are offering in the different hospitals, the craft that they have mastered over time, they cannot be replaced by picking doctors or picking people on the streets or picking quacks everywhere. So it means that when the government is trying to threaten us, they're actually risking the lives of patients. And we do not know.
Even after the Inspector General of Police, Japheth Koome, cautioned health workers on the strike, they have noted that tomorrow they will hold a mega demonstration.
To condemn, in the strongest word possible, the statement of IG Koome. We want to tell Koome that the police have so much work to do than to look after the healthcare workers. Right now, the schools in Baringo, the schools in Samburu, the schools in West Pokot and Turkana are closed. Unfortunately, the IG Koome has never commented on those schools which have been closed because of banditry and criminal activities taking place in those areas. But when healthcare workers who are peacefully demonstrating and exercising their rights as per the Article 37 of the Constitution of Kenya, he comes and starts threatening us.
All this comes 2 days after the head of public service, Felix Kosgei, issued a formal appeal to the Health Workers Union, urging them to cease their industrial action and engage in constructive dialogue with their respective employers. The big question being, who is telling the truth and who is to be believed based on the side of the story? Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, my name is Nelias Wanjiru.
Thank you so much, Nelias, for that report. The Salaries and Remuneration Commission kicked off the third wage bill conference today, seeking to align the national wage bill with the constitutional requirements. According to the constitution, the national wage bill should not exceed 35% of national revenue. However, it currently stands at 47%. Speaking at the conference in Nairobi, the head of public service, Felix Kosgei, said that the government is keen to attain the target by 2028, adding that the state will not consider any salary, wage, or allowance increment for civil servants in efforts to tame the nation's wage bill. This comes at a time when the public healthcare services are paralyzed by the doctor's strike, which is in its 5th week now.
Further, we urge all the employers and employees and the unions to also realize the state of the economy that this country has, the measures that the government has taken to turn around the economy, the tight fiscal space that we have, and also consider that at this time it is not possible to look for additional salaries because Kenyans are really paying taxes, and they want their taxes, first of all, to go to projects and initiatives that will turn the economy. And once the economy has been turned around, then issues, salaries, issues, allowances can be brought to the table. But at the moment, as His Excellency the President has pronounced, let us all live within our means.
Crossing borders now, and the United Nations has called on Iran and Israel to show restraint. The threat of a full-scale direct conflict between the pair looming over the Middle East. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres warned the adversaries at an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council not to further escalate tension in the region with further attacks following mutual air attacks over the past 2 weeks. The rising tensions between Iran and Israel come against the backdrop of Israel's 6-month-old war on Gaza, which began after the Hamas attack in Israel on the 7th of October, resulting in the deaths of 1,139 people, mostly civilians. Israel's retaliatory offensive has killed at least 3,729 people in Gaza, mostly women and children.
We have a shared responsibility to work for peace. Regional and indeed global peace and security are being undermined by the hour. Neither the region nor the world can afford more war. Thank you.
And to some business news now, the youth have been urged to broaden their knowledge, leverage existing networks, and identify gaps, and also pinpoint the obstacles that hinder them from securing jobs or successfully manage their enterprises. Speaking at Ngorika Trading Center in Olkalau constituency, Nyandarua County, during a youth and a women empowerment forum, Paul Weganjo from Brico Homes and other professionals advised the young people to develop saving habits by setting aside money from their earnings and invest in small-scale businesses. Here's Abigail Namude with more.
Youth in Nyandarua County have been urged to broaden their knowledge, leverage existing networks and identify gaps, and also pinpoint the obstacles that hinder them from securing jobs or successfully manage their enterprises. Paul Weganjo, the director of Weganjo Foundation and Brico Homes, further noted that the majority of young people lacked financial power to propel them to achieve their dreams. Therefore, to surmount these challenges, the youths have been encouraged to develop a continuous learning mindset which will help them tap emerging opportunities. Weganjo said that the event is all about empowering the society, specifically the youths and women.
More importantly, youths, women, and of course talking matters mental health and illicit brew. And today we are so grateful. We have quite a big number that today we are talking to our people on how we can be able to empower ourselves economically. And more importantly, it's good for you to note that we have some circle, a circle by the name of our circle that it came so that it can empower our people, simply because many people don't believe that you can start low and tomorrow you'll be in a position whereby you'll be able to move a crowd through the businesses that you are doing and through the empowerment that you get from the people who are actually helping you to know and to gather information matters to do with financial literacy today.
Clinical psychologist Arthur Gishuru from Chiromo Hospital said that there was need to raise awareness about mental health issues and comprehend the effects of vices like alcoholism and drug addiction.
We are here together with courtesy of Paul Weganjo Foundation to try and create awareness, mental health awareness to the people here and make sure that they understand what mental health is. First of all, we really want them to know and understand the impact of alcohol and drug substance abuse, of which a number of them in this area are affected, and also empower them with what we call individual intervention, just to know how to actually manage some of the issues that happens to them. For example, stress, when you're faced with certain kind of issues, anxiety, how do you deal with them? And we are very, very happy because of this kind of an initiative, because again, we're telling people to funguke.
On his part, Robert Ndungu, one of the managers at Paul Waiganja Foundation, mentioned that they are moving in different counties just to create a mental awareness, fighting illicit brew and providing youths and women empowerment programs.
We are moving around our counties with an intention of empowering our people. And that's why today we hand a theme that we are fighting illicit brews. We are out to make sure that our people are mentally healthy, and that's why you have the mental health awareness. And the third one, we have the youth and women empowerment programs. And why are we doing these things? We have come to realize that for our societies to be stable, for our societies to be rich, for our societies to be self-reliant or self-independent, we are out to do these things. And we have understood that many a times that our people have given money or are given cash, but you find after some time they are not able to utilize this money and make a life out of it. And we have come to realize that what we are lacking is it literacy, the financial literacy. And after doing all this, we have come out as a foundation because we believe by pulling our efforts together and our resources, we are able to acquire what we call the synergy.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, my name is Abigail Namude.
And to some sporting action now, AFC Leopards secured a 1-0 win over Posta Rangers in the FKF Premier League match played at the Machakos Stadium. Kennedy Odhiambo scored the only goal against his former side in the 40th minute. Currently, Gor Mahia lead the standings with 54 points, followed by Kenya Police and Bandari with 45 and 44 points respectively. Now, for the first time in their 119-year history, Bayer Leverkusen are the champions of Germany. A 5-0 thrashing of Werder Bremen on Sunday wrapped up the Bundesliga title on March Day 29 as the undefeated, ultra-impressive team of Xabi Alonso scored 4 times in the second half. Victor Boniface scored the opener from the spot in the 25th minute, while Grand Xhaka grabbed his goal in the 60th minute before star Florian Wirtz scored a hat-trick in the final 22 minutes of the game. The title is the first Bundesliga win for a club who had previously held the record for most second-place finishes without lifting the crown. Story of Bayer Leverkusen and Xabi Alonso just looks like a fairy tale. Beautiful. Football is just so beautiful. Well, with that, we come to a short break here on Hope TV News, but after the break, we go straight to the Dialogue K.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
Thank you for choosing Hope TV, the channel that brings you hope, entertainment, and inspiration. We value you and would like to serve you better. Talk to us by scanning this QR code on your screen or go to our social media page at Hope TV Kenya and click on the survey link by the name Hope TV Survey. It'll just take a few minutes but means the world to us. We value your feedback. Hope TV, look and live.
Welcome to the Dialogue K. Now, tonight on the show, we'll be discussing on the state of the nation, from the doctor's strike to politics and everything in between. Well, the state of the nation conversation begins right now. And in studio, I'm now joined by the Member of Parliament of Mbeere North, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Thank you so much.
And former presidential aspirant, Ruben Kigame. Thank you so much, sir, for making time for us. Now, doctors have refused to go to work until the 2017 CBA is fully implemented. President William Ruto told striking doctors that, and I quote, "As a nation, we must agree that we must live within our means. We cannot continue to spend the money we do not have." He says that the wage bill currently stands at 47% against the legal requirement of 35%. Again, SRC chairperson Aline Mengich has defended the government's proposal to slash medical interns' pay from the 206,000 shillings set in the 2017 CBA to 70,000 shillings. And in Parliament, Health Year's impeachment motion is about to be tabled by the Member of Parliament of Embakasi East, that's Honorable Bobo Wino. I mean, Mheshimiwa, let me begin with you. What's the solution towards this strike?
Thank you so much for having me here. I think one of the things we need to understand, so that we put everything into context, is that health matters is one of the essential services in the Republic of Kenya. Health plus security plus food supply, these are essential services. They are too critical to the well-being of the nation. And therefore, it is important that those who are offering this service or medical service are very pertinent people, very critical team of candor of our society for the survival of our nation. Having said that, it is also important to mention that the health is devolved according to our constitution of the Republic of Kenya, but there are level 6 hospitals which are not devolved. But the level 5 hospitals to level 4 and dispensaries across the nation are devolved, and it's a function of county government of the Republic of Kenya. And therefore, the county government have key functions which they are supposed to take care of. One of the function, or among the function they have, is one is budgeting. They should be able to budget the resources properly to ensure the health services are conducted properly within the county. Then also there is planning. They need to do proper planning to ensure the health services are done well as a function. Then another function is provision of emergency medicines. Another function which is very critical and which has made now this situation we are in at the moment is human resource function, which is also part of the county government, human resource, to ensure we have nurses, we have clinical officers, we have dentists, we have pharmacists, we have medical doctors across our medical facilities in our county, in our counties in the Republic of Kenya. Now, the question we should be asking ourselves, are these functions properly handled by our county government? Probably yes and no. There are a few counties, very few counties, county government in Kenya which are taking care of these functions properly. Now, we are talking about strike because of medical officers interns. Remember, a decade ago, Kenya used to have to graduate around maximum 300 doctors. Students used to graduate from our 2 medical schools. At the moment, we have several schools, medical schools, and we are graduating every year about 1,200, 1,500. Now, government has shown some goodwill in terms of provision of a budget to take care of the medical interns. It has it has set aside 2.4 billion Kenyan shilling for the medical interns to get their letters, and their letters are ready for posting. And we're talking about 1,210 medical interns who are medical officers, dentists, and pharmacists. Now, the bone of contention is that what the government is proposing, 70,000 Kenyan shilling per month, is too little for the medical officers interns, and they have said they are not going to accept it. The argument is that this is money which was being paid during Moi time in 2002, 2003. But we need to ask ourselves then, how many medical interns did we have? It was about 300. It's a very important role which they play. But yes, they are playing very important role as medical interns in our hospitals. But also they have been misused by the county governments across the country.
Honorable Ruki, you say that the government has the goodwill to employ these interns, but there's a 2017 CBA.
Yes.
And the doctors just want that to be fully implemented. 7 years down the line,
yes,
yet to be implemented. That's what they want to go, just implement that 2017 CBA.
Kenyans last year, a month like this time or the year of June, last year they were up in arms because of finance bill. Remember, we collect money through a finance act, because they're saying we are being taxed huge amount of money, and the government is here saying our coffers are empty. We need money to provide services, to pay for the services provided to the people of the Republic of Kenya. If you look at the people who are saying they need more money, the same people who are saying we are taxed highly and we don't want to pay taxes, are the same, those who are supporting this strike, are the same who we are almost entering into another finance bill in a few months from now. Will be the same people saying, no, we cannot pay these taxes. We have to be able to balance that. We have to be able to be very honest as Kenyans that we need money to pay for doctors, to pay for security, to pay for teachers, to pay for our roads, to pay for our, all these services provided by the government. That money must come from somewhere. It can come from two sources. One, taxation. Two, borrowing. So the government is saying we don't have enough money to take care of all the costs. And that is a fact. We have to live within our means. That is what the president came out and said. Guys, we have to be able to live within our means. 1,210 medical interns are taking 2.4 billion Kenya shilling.
Okay.
That's a huge amount of money. Remember also, government is on journey to roll out universal health care by 1st of July this month.
Right.
So this year. So it means we'll be seeing many doctors being absorbed into universal health care so that this program can be properly implemented by the government.
Ruben, let me pick your mind on this issue. Mheshimiwa says that there's a goodwill by the government to employ the interns, but he's saying that there's no money. We need to either tax Kenyans more or borrow for them to fulfill the 2017 CBA. What's your take on that?
I completely disagree with every statement that points towards goodwill and or lack of money and, a stressed economy and all of that. I'm completely not able to take that. In fact, if you have followed very closely, you know that about 2 weeks ago, I joined the doctors on the strike.
Yeah.
And I was on the streets with them, asking the government to please honor the CBA and also employ the interns. And I still believe the same.
Yeah.
I don't believe, for example, that we have shortage of funds. What we have is a mismanagement of the economy. We have a total set of wrong priorities by this and even the previous governments. And medical services are not a priority to both governments, the last one and this one. If you are in a house and you have an economic challenge because you can't put food on the table, but the father of the house or the mother of the house is busy whining and dining every evening and is out there, buying a new car and buying a new house and traveling around in luxury, you'd say that is an artificial problem because it's the priorities that would be wrong. The priorities of this government are wrong. Number one, if the hypocrisy that goes with living within our means was tamed, then we would be able to listen to this government. So, for example, why was it important to renovate State House at this time? Not that it wouldn't be good to renovate. Was State House actually falling? Were we uprooting state? Was it in such a bad state? Why that now? When you look at the lavish lifestyles of most of the leaders in government right now, and people buying property, people buying land, wearing expensive watches, etc., in terms of personal spending, globe trotting with big groups of people. That is not a government that is living within its means. And the executive knows that, Parliament knows that, or should know that, my brother here should know that is not living within our means. We are not living within our means. And so what we need to do is actually show by example that we'll need to live within our means. When we show that from the executive to Parliament, to the judiciary, to everybody, even the private sector, then when you tell people, let us live within our means, they will listen. But secondly, when you give counties, let's say 241 billion in any allocation, and then you see how State House spends on the teas and entertainment and all of these things, you ask, who is fooling who? So as a Kenyan, because Kenya is my business, I was born here, just like our leaders were born here. When we see mismanagement, don't tell me to give you more money. Show me what the money is doing first. Show me how many more hospitals you've built. Show me the difference between Kenya in 2000, Kenya in 2017, and Kenya now. So I don't think people are unwilling to pay taxes. People are against mismanagement of our taxes. And that is what is going on in government. You can take that to the bank.
Kigama, you say that you're in the strike, the doctor strike. You joined them actually a few days ago, and there are many Kenyans who are actually suffering. They're wondering now that the doctors are on strike, what is going to happen to us? We have cancer patients, we have actually Kenyans who are taking medication.
I said the last government and this one take doctors for granted. Do you remember how many health workers we lost because of the pandemic that was?
Yeah.
Just because we don't want to prioritize the service providers either. And doctors are Kenyans. The nurses are Kenyans. The clinical workers are Kenyans. They're taxed. They're demanded to give services. So take, for example, these interns. We have overstretched duties and responsibilities and so on. Actually, we don't have enough health workers in the country. If we cannot take care of the ones we already have, how can we then talk about developing the health sector? It's not the mistake of the doctors that we have produced more doctors. It is actually about planning. So we need to plan knowing that in 5 years' time, we'll have these many numbers. And the SRC has something to do with this as well. If you look at what we bring in as a country, just under 2 trillion recently, living within our means implies that you cut costs on the luxuries and unnecessary items. And health is a priority, so you prioritize health. Education is a priority, so you prioritize that. It's Kenyans who are not against the finance bill or act. Kenyans were against overtaxation because we are actually overtaxed. And taxation needs to be commensurate to the earnings of the people. But most of all, and this is something I will insist on, show us by example that you're willing to live within the means. Then we will follow you. But if you tell us, let's live within our means, and you are not living within the means, you're a hypocrite.
All right.
It doesn't work.
All right. Honorable Member of Parliament of Embakasi East, Babu Owino, actually gave a notice of motion for the impeachment of Health CS Susan Nakumija. Mheshimiwa, do you support the impeachment motion, and do you think that is the solution to this strike that you're having?
I think motion to impeach the CS Health is not well founded because she's not a contributor to the striking of the medical interns or medical officers. She has not committed any gross violation of the Constitution. Therefore, I don't think we can, as a parliament, impeach the CS Health. However, we have ministers who, I think, in my own opinion, should be impeached. For instance, the CS Agriculture. There is criminal culpability which can be traced directly to CS Agriculture because of the supply distribution of the fertilizer. You know how the president came out very, very, very annoying the other day. So there is someone who should be impeached, but not CS Nakumija. Having said that, it's important also to put into perspective that if you compare the payment of medical interns in other countries, because this is a practice everywhere within the medical profession. If you compare other countries like Ghana, the medical interns in Ghana, they earn 45,000 per month. If you compare to Uganda, they earn 50,000 per month. If you compare to Tanzania, they earn 66,000 per month. Nigeria, they earn 70,000 per month. And South Africa, they earn 206,000 per month. Now, Kenyans, the intern are claiming they want to earn 206,000 per month. Remember, medical officers entry level in job, they are normally, once they finish the internship, they go to job group N, which is not the case with other professionals like engineers who have also studied 5 years university, or architects who have studied 6 years in the university, or economists, lawyers. Lawyers also, they have their pupillage, 2 years pupillage, and they don't earn 206,000 per month. True, medical professional is a noble profession. That's why they don't even, they are not classified in terms of first class or second class upper, or it is, you have passed and you take the oath of, what do you call it? Hippocratic oath. Therefore, it's a noble profession. But I call upon all the medical of interns who are striking at the moment, please go and get your letter of posting, because these letters are ready for posting. As the government tried to reorganize things, remember, things were extremely bad 1 year ago in terms of the economic performance of this country. The way it was performing, the way the direction which we were taking was completely not good direction. However, the government, led by President William Ruto, has made very painful decisions, and we are seeing the results of that. Painful but right decision. Of the prices of unga has come down, the prices of fuel is coming down. The shilling was behaving in a very chaotic manner. At the moment, it is seriously gaining against dollar. We are seeing a rebound in Nairobi Stock Exchange, where even serious companies are investing there, meaning there's a lot of confidence on the Kenyan economy. We have seen the inflation rate going down. At the moment, we are at 5.7% in terms of inflation. So all the macroeconomic parameters of this country in terms of economy are pointing in the right direction. This is because of the very prudent decision which the president and his government have taken. And therefore, when the government is saying, guys, we are offering you 70,000 Kenyan shillings for now, there must be why that decision. It must be well informed. It will be a different case when government is saying we are not going to hire any medical intern. That would be totally different affair.
Issue, Honorable Roku, there's a 2017 CBA.
Yes.
And the government signed to it.
Yes.
What the doctors are asking, just implement that, and we are in good books.
Yeah, and remember, these medical interns are going to go for a short period of time as medical intern. Once they finish the training, remember, they get employed with government, and they are going to earn 258,000 Kenyan shilling, 258,110 shilling every single month at the job group N. So we are fighting for a very short window, very short period. And immediately of that, you get employed in the public service, you earn 258,110 shilling every single month as you rise across the ladder. And remember, there is always training within the medical profession. When you are doing your master's, there is training, I'm not sure whether it is called registrars, it's a training, and you have to be supervised by a senior doctor. So there is always training across the practice of the medical profession. So
what is the solution now?
The solution is government has offered 2.4 billion Kenyan shilling. I set aside 2.4 billion Kenyan shilling. Government has signed all the letters of 1,210 medical interns, and probably is going to break these medical interns. They are 849, and dental interns are 72, pharmacist interns are 289, a total of 1,210. And all the letters are ready. So I think from where I sit, and also as a member of parliament, I think it's high time for medical interns. Please go pick your letters of the posting. Don't be dragged through the mud by the union. Do your training. You have been a student for 6 or so years. Go finish this training. Get your job, which you get at job group N. You earn 258,110, and you'll grow through your medical profession. Meanwhile, we have a listening government. President William Ruto is always very pragmatic in terms of listening to different views. Once things improve, then you'll be able to get your money.
All right, so Ruben, let me pick your mind on this. Do you agree with Mheshimiwa that the interns should just pick what the doctors are offering?
Not at all. And I'm actually a bit disappointed by the patronage behind this whole question. So the first thing is this: don't make promises that you know you're not going to. That is a simple rule of life. Don't lie to doctors that we're going to honor this CBA and then you don't. Now, the respectability or the gentlemanly condition of any government is keeping promises. Now, one could argue that this is not the government that signed the CBA in 2017. Now, that is a straw man if you consider that the current president was actually the deputy of that very same government. Then they will argue and say that they found no money. Okay, they may not have found money, but the economy is not static. Kenyans have been paying, in fact, very, very painfully. So there is money, and you can quantify what has come in. The problem, again, is misappropriation. I keep going back to, we're not spending within our means. We can say, let's spend within our means, but we're not. But secondly, when you look at the number of interns that we are dealing with, what is lacking is the goodwill to reallocate, the national budget to bias the solution of the problem. That the government is not willing to do. And I would challenge my brother to measure or to compare what is coming in, what is on offer for the medical, for the health sector, vis-a-vis other offers that actually tend towards luxury spending. But secondly, what is lacking, and you asked about whether the CS should be discontinued from her office or not. My thinking is that you don't solve a problem by firing. You solve a problem by mediation. And mediation is about listening to both sides. If the CS lacks the capacity to institute a mediation team, maybe Parliament should put together a small team that is, from the different sectors, and let them sit down with government representatives and the doctors. You see, it is very easy to say President Ruto is a good listener. He's not. We've been speaking about so many things, and this is not the only issue. He'll say, the courts say this, but this is what I'll do. Parliament, wacha nione yule ambaye hata kubaliana na hii kitu. Compare that with Kibaki. Compare that with a bit of Uhuru. I think you can't pretend about listening. I mean, I wrote about 16 pages, a response to the finance areas that needed to change. They're all trashed out. So what I'm trying to say is that this is not a listening government. You can take that to the bank. But lastly, what I would want to say is what is the way forward? If there was a mediation and there was a 206 versus 70,000, what we should be hearing is, okay, we cannot make 206. You want a bit more, maybe this is what we can offer for now. But the problem is we may end up exactly the same place we were with the CBA. So that you say we are going to do this, but you don't do. The Bible says, this is a Christian station, the Bible says it's better not to promise than to promise and not fulfill. I live by that. I believe that is how we should live. And God did not put that principle in the Bible for nothing. And I think everybody should follow that. Right. Don't lie. Don't tell people you're going to do when you know you're not going to do.
All right. Okay, let's move on swiftly. And the debate.
But I agree with him that the first person to go should be the agriculture CS.
All right, let's see how that will pan out. And moving on, the debate on the presidential term limit is back. And the latest being Kenyan tycoon Narendra Raval, who says, and I quote, he loves this country so much that is President William Ruto, and I do not have words to thank him. May God give him 100 years of life. I wish we have this president for at least 25 years. We'll change this country. And Pokot South Member of Parliament, your colleague David Kosing, in his speech after the businessman endorsed the call for a 25-year Ruto administration, he said, and I quote, let us change the constitution. What's the problem? Honorable Druku, what's your take on this?
Before I even mention my take, I want to comment on the excesses that the State House renovation of State House. The State House belongs to the people of the Republic of Kenya. It's a symbol of the unity of the people of Kenya. It doesn't belong to William Samoei Ruto. It's a face of the people of the Republic. And therefore, when we are receiving guests, when we are having state visit from the King of England to different presidents, they should come and be welcome in a place where fits the face of the people of Kenya. We have to respect ourselves by making where other dignitaries from other countries come to visit, they find a place where it did suit the face of Kenya. Having said that,
no, I'm hurting from that statement deeply, because the faces of Kenya are the hunger levels of the people of Kenya, whether we're taking children to school or not, whether people are throwing themselves down from buildings because they're stressed up, they can't make ends meet. Those are the faces of Kenya. It's not a meeting room somewhere. It's not stones and marble. I actually feel very horrible thinking that State House can symbolize me. It doesn't. It is whether I can put food on the table. It is whether I can take my children to school. It is whether I can go to church. It is whether I am able to pay my health bills. It is whether I have a doctor in hospital that can treat me. That is the face of Kenya. I don't agree that State House is the symbol.
I think we can debate that again and again.
Oh, gladly.
But we need to dignify ourselves as a country, as a people of Kenya, as a nation.
But it's not
and
in
we can
marble.
only dignify ourselves if we have a dignifying place where we are welcoming our guests and state guests. So it's always important to have that done. So about constitutional change to extend the right of president or presidency, I think Kenya is a democracy. It's a constitutional democracy. Our constitution is very clear on the number of years a president should be able to serve, and I don't think we are in a position to change that. And whatever the president they do is a lot of work, and I am sure President William Ruto will not be looking at extension of more than 10 years. By the time he will be serving 9 years, he'll be so tired because the kind of work he's doing, he's not sleeping. It's a job, 24 hours, full-time job. So I think it is enough to serve 10 years and let any other person come and continue with the same work.
All right.
So we are a constitutional democracy. Our constitution is clear. Yes, different people have different opinion to let the president extend the right. No, but I think it's not something which can easily be done by Parliament.
All right.
Yes.
Kigame, let me pick a mind on this. When an MP says that let us change the constitution, what's the problem? I mean, what does that mean to you as a Kenyan?
It means little because the constitution, again, is very clear in Article 1 that sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya. So it's not one person to decide and like I said, an opinion is just an opinion. We think different, but we need to ask, what does the Constitution say? If any change needs to happen in the Constitution, it must go back to the people. And if you remember in the BBI discussions, there is something called the basic structure of the Constitution. You cannot violate that.
All right. And as you conclude, Mheshimiwa, I mean, what is the basic state of the nation?
It's very healthy. The state of nation is quite promising, very healthy. We have seen a rebound of Nairobi Stock Exchange. Inflation has come down to 5.7. We have seen prices of commodity coming down from 240, that is 2 kgs of unga, to around 100 shilling at the moment. We have seen prices of fuel coming down. We have seen government managing very well our Kenya shilling against dollar. At the moment, we are around 124, 125 against Kenya shilling, against dollar. And that means it has offloaded about 1.12 trillion Kenya shilling of our debts. So it's a huge, huge boost. All that money will go to different other projects. So we are in the right direction. I would request all the Kenyans to support William Ruto and his decisions. And we'll be in the right place in a couple of, by 2026 December, we'll be talking about a totally different thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Mheshimiwa say that Kenya is in a very healthy state of the nation. Ruben Kigame, what's your take on the state of the nation?
I disagree. And not because I want to sound different, but because I live on the ground. They live in ivory towers. I live where the Mwananchi lives. And I see the pain. And I see the difficulty of even helping some of those who want food, and I can't help. I see so many students staying at home. That is not a sign of a healthy nation. And remember, we're spending about 628 billion on education alone. And education is not free. If you tabulated and gave 15,000 to every primary school student, in terms of capitation and gave 30,000, well, it's not happening, but gave 30,000 to every high school student, and you did an average of, let's say, 210,000 per university student, given the statistics we have now, you could give free education to this country with less than 400 billion. And so the question is, why are we spending 628 and it's not free? But another question is this. When we say that the shilling has improved against the dollar and all of that, what is this improvement pegged on? We're dealing with a debt, the Eurobond that was about to mature, etc., etc. But we are refusing to ask the fundamental question. What is the Eurobond? What was it meant to do? And what did it do? Who received it in the account? What was it spent on? Where is the fruit of what it was spent on? So the payment is not the issue. The balancing of the shilling is not the issue. But we're dealing with odious debt because money was borrowed in the name of Kenyans to do certain things that we don't know. It disappeared, and now Kenyans are paying for it, and there are negotiations around it to borrow more in order to settle what we don't know. And I could go on with many other debts. The debt crisis is artificial, and it is born out of bad governing structures. It's actually evil. And so if you track down, and these are from reports from the Auditor General, you have a lot of debts that were incurred that we don't know what the money did. Now, when you say inflation has come down, inflation is just an economic term. I can float around jargons. I'm a philosopher, so I can do that. But the reflection of the improvement of any economy is that you see happier faces instead of all the suicides, is that you see more children in school, is that you see people able to put food on the table. And when you say, for example, that fuel costs have come down, I don't know if you've ever heard of the principle of 2 steps forward and 1 step back. That is what has happened. Because about 1.5 years ago, we know where fuel prices were. So they shot up. And then you reduce a bit and you say, we've improved. We're not back to where, and I'm not saying that we would be where we were in 2020, but even with the pandemic, we were not where we are. And so I'm saying it's a false improvement so that it gives this icing feeling, a sugar rush kind of solution. That, ilikuwa huko juu, sasa imeshuka kidogo. Ilikuwa hapa. So why isn't it coming at least to here? So I'm basically saying, let's be realistic and let's be people who love the truth. Let's be people that are not populist. Let us sit down and accept that we have a problem. And the economic problem in Kenya is artificial. Actually, it's a miracle that we survived with all that's going on. So I would say the state of the nation is unhealthy.
Unhealthy.
Not healthy.
All right. We are running out of time, and I guess that's a very good point to end the discussion tonight. You say that the state of the nation is unhealthy, and Mheshimiwa said it is very healthy. I mean, 2 different sides of one coin, but we pray that everything goes well for our nation. I believe everyone is praying for the best. And with that, we come to the end of the Dialogue KE tonight. On behalf of the amazing team that made this possible, have yourselves a blessed night. In studio, I have been with the former presidential aspirant Reuben Kigame and the Member of Parliament of Mbeere North, Honorable Geoffrey Ruku. Enjoy the rest of your programming.